Hello people, today I'm going to be doing a brand new review to Disney Pixar's brand new movie that they just released on Disney Plus, Soul. And I didn't really have any expectations for this movie. I knew that I was going to watch it, and I knew it was coming out on Disney Plus. I was like, okay. I knew it was Disney Pixar. I was like, I'm sure this will be really great. And so I didn't really, I'm pretty sure I watched one of the trailers, but I didn't really watch the other one. It was never been high on my radar, but I knew I was probably going to watch it and really like it because I have that much faith in Disney Pixar. And this is not my favorite Pixar movie or anything, but it is definitely really, really good. Let's get into what I didn't like. The animation style in The Great Before, didn't care for it. It felt lazy. I felt like Pixar could have done better because this movie is so short, I think. Well, at least it felt short, but, I felt like they could have done more with it because we spent some time there. Of course, we spend about 65% of the time on Earth and about the rest on The Great Before. And so it felt kind of lazy, the type of animation that they were doing. Even when I saw the first trailer, the animation, it's just because the animation on Earth is so good. When they get to more of an animated type place, it was very boggling whenever they go from one style to the other. The other problem I had with this movie is this is kind of a compliment, but yet a problem. I think it's too short. I think they needed some more length to this to make it as impactful as it could have been. Of course, I've heard a couple of people say, "Oh, Pixar trying to manipulate you," but I felt with about 10 to 15 more minutes of runtime, they could have had a lot more emotional payoff, because there is one character that they introduce about a third through the movie called 22, and I felt like she could have been a lot more developed, because towards the end of the movie where the climax is happening, and it didn't necessarily revolve around her, but she was a big part of it. I really didn't feel for anything for her, and that's just because she could have been developed more. Of course, she had a lot of development, and you could see what's going on in the character's head. You could understand what she says. You could understand what she feels, because it's a Pixar movie. Her writing's really good. It's just, I felt like there could have been a little bit more to the character herself. But maybe since it's a new Soul, it doesn't have a character yet, but it's something about that, just the whole 22 thing, like, I felt like could have been done a little bit better, or maybe even been explained a little bit better. But, yeah, overall, those are just nitpicks. Like, I thought 22 was a good character and all, it's just I thought she could have been a little bit more developed. Now let's get into what I like about the movie. The message of this movie is very, very, very impactful. If you watch this movie and you don't rethink your life choices, you're just not human. And of course, I'm young. I never really made a life choice. But the message of the movie definitely hits hard and kind of tries to make people rethink their life in general. And of course, it's one heck of a message to pull off, but yet Pixar did it. They did it in a way that wasn't, like, overbearingly, like, oh, too sad. It was just, it was a good message. It had its impact, and they did a good job with it. The voice work in this movie by I'm pretty sure, yeah, Jamie Foxx did the lead guy, and he did a really, really good job. Like I said, all the animation on Earth was just mind-blowing. Whenever we were on Earth, I remember there's this one shot, or still, I should say, of New York City, and you see it from Central Park, and for a second there, I thought they went to live action. That's how good the animation was. It was just jaw-dropping, and they did a really, really good job with the animation on Earth. I know on each and every single person, you could make out every single detail on their face. Whenever you're on Earth, the animation is amazing. The pacing on this movie was perfect. Like I said, it could be a little bit longer, but for what it was, the pacing was perfect. I was thoroughly entertained from beginning to middle to end. I wasn't really bored at all. It was really well done. The thing that got me the most was of course I was watching it on Disney Plus, and I kept, on my remote, I have the Apple TV, and so if I just touch the pad, it'll just tell me how much of the movie is left. And so I wasn't anxious for the movie to end or anything, but I just checked it throughout the movie just because I was curious. And I remember this movie has 16 minutes of credits. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe, like, it's a kid's movie. It doesn't really need that many credits. Like, of course, it has a lot of teams behind it, but they could just go through it fast. But then I remember the movie credits rolling. 16 minutes left? 16 minutes of credits? Like, I don't know if it was just me, but that was kind of, like, almost mean-spirited because I was, you know, I was like, okay, we still got some time left. What are we gonna, what are they gonna do with this last, about 10 minutes? And all of a sudden, like, oh, credits roll. I'm like, okay, because like I said, that's, I guess, where I thought that 15 minutes went, because I kind of expected, I checked the runtime when the movie started, I always kind of assumed, I didn't never put credits into my head, and I just didn't realize how big of a role credits had into that runtime, because I remember I was like, hey, that's it? But like I said, I kind of derailed big time on that, but like, back to what I was saying, the pacing on this movie was really, really good. I did not want it to end. I felt like I could have watched a 3-hour version of Soul just because I know how well Pixar develops its characters. And like I said, 22 could have been a little bit more developed. She was well developed, but it could have definitely been done a little bit more to just have a little bit more of an emotional impact, because I know they could have pulled it off. I like the way that the movie almost describes the indescribable beauty of things, of living. They pull it off in such a nice, warming way. And like I said, this movie finds a way to describe the indescribable feeling of things. I know I sound really dumb when I say this, but once you see the movie, you will know what I mean, because it just shows how beautiful Earth is in a perfect way. And overall, this movie is so fun. Another thing I want to point out is I really enjoyed the band/jazz sequences, because I'm in band at my school, and so I was definitely cracking up, especially in the opening scene. So yeah, this is a fun movie. Definitely a recommend. Out of the 2 Disney Pixar movies that we got this year, Onward versus Soul, I say Soul's the better one. I'm going to give Soul an 8.6 out of 10. So yeah, definitely go see it. And yeah, so watch it on Disney Plus. Do whatever you got to do. Watch the movie. It's pretty good. So yeah, anyways, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that. And adios.